2020, a year of many unforeseen challenges, where all had to adjust to a new reality. And despite it all, Got Kush TV was and still is here to serve you. And what a year it's been. We began the repatriation journey with our new show, Voyage to Motherland. We dropped the knowledge as you took your seats in the Kush Community and joined us to hold a meds with the Ankh Doc. Got Kush TV invited you to get involved in controversial conversation and enter Decipher. And when the world went into lockdown, we kept you connected with the quarantine convos. We kept our finger on the pulse of the community with coverage of the Reparations Rebellion and the Black Pound Day all day. Not to mention more wordsmith and a slew of new music video releases for your viewing pleasure and the official launch of the Got Kush TV website. We also brought you events including Women of Power and of course Blacktricity. Now, in 2021, Got Kush TV is continuing to level up the thing. First up, we are pleased to inform you that GotKushTV.com is open to exclusive membership. Sign up to any of our membership tiers and you will gain access to playbacks from all our events and an ever-growing list of exclusive original content, including interviews, documentaries, and shows such as Kush Community. To become an official member of GotKushTV.com, simply hit the membership tab. Stay tuned for continued updates. Then there's the new shows. Look out for more Decipher, Wordsmith, Hold a Meds with the Ankh Doctor, and weekly episodes of Quarantine Convos focused on health, wellness, education, and inspiration for our community. As always, the Got Kush TV film team is available for hire to cover all your events, adverts, infomercials, and all filming needs. Visit us at gotkushtv.com for hire inquiries and more information. Stand by all black businesses through our website, social media, and show content. We have monumental advertising, sponsorship, and network opportunities catering specially for you. Check out the advertising page on gotkushtv.com for more information. Got Kush TV is in full flight to join us for the ride. There's 4 things you can do. Subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell to make sure you don't miss a release. Join us on all social media and hit up gotkushtv.com to subscribe to our mailing list and sign up to become a Got Kush TV member for exclusive opportunities in the near future. Let us know you are feeling our content by hitting that ever so important button of approval. Comment. We want to hear your feedback on everything we are putting out. So make sure your presence is felt in the comment section. Share. Spread the word by hitting that share button and exposing your circle to the magnificence that is Got Kush TV. We are looking forward to building with you throughout 2021 and servicing you with high quality black media production. Got Kush TV, beyond discussion, beyond debate, we put the power in black media. Blacktricity, Got Kush TV's exclusive pre-Kwanzaa showcase is now available for you to watch absolutely free. In conjunction with Ghana, the On The Return series, we have brought the African diaspora experience directly to you. To watch this monumental event absolutely free, simply register for membership at gotkushtv.com and you will receive access to Blacktricity as well as more exclusive content, including Reggie Rockstone, Yusufu Jallo, VVN, Malaku Selassie, Daddy Makes Dough, Pods, King Wiz, Kubada, Ras Ashiba, Mama Sia, Brother Leader Bandaka, Israel, Sister Moots, Carla Marie, Yemaya Sankofa, Goldflow, and a special Voyage to Motherland panel discussion. All this and more, hosted by Nat Nye and Stella B. Register now at gotkushtv.com.
Growing up in the Caribbean, I was taught to honor Great Britain. But when I check out the history and I check out the ancestry, I have to face reality. Now I could wave a flag, I could boast and brag. I know who I am. I am an African. I'm proud of my motherland. Don't doubt me. I'm proud of my ancestry.
Microphone check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Greetings, family. Greetings, and welcome to this special edition Got Kush TV special dealing with help. The St Vincent and the Grenadines, kings and queens. Yes, indeed. We want to thank you for being here and encourage you to share the link, far and wide. Share it far and wide, family, as we engage in this very, very special conversation with our brothers and sisters from around the world, addressing the situation of the volcanic eruption in St Vincent and the Grenadines, what's happening on the ground, the relief effort between here and the Caribbean as well. You're going to get all that information, so do stay tuned, and make sure you like the video and share it. I can't stress that enough, because a lot of people are asking questions, and we're going to try to answer a number of those questions during the show. Without further ado, let me introduce you to my co-host for the evening's proceedings. Bigging up Sister Mut, and we have Sister Mut to thank for the fact that we are doing this right about now, kings and queens. So greetings and welcome, Sister Mut.
Thank you. Greetings, beloveds.
Yes. And somebody who's no stranger to Got Kush TV, kings and queens. If you are a regular on Got Kush TV, you know the face and you know the name, the Ankh Doctor, aka Duamutef and Ankh. Greetings, Duamutef. Oh wait, you're on mute. Sorry.
You know the divinity within you.
Greetings. Come again.
The master, you came in there?
Yes, King.
The divine or the divinity within you. How you doing, sister? Yes. The master.
I'm good, Greetings, beloved.
All right. On my mic, so I can't hear myself, On my mic, so my mic sound good?
You sound good,
you're good, man. You're good.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yes, family. So we're there and we're live. As I said, please share it far and wide. And we want to just big up everybody who has been contributing to the relief effort so far. We are going to be speaking to people from St Vincent. We're going to be speaking to people from Barbados. We're going to be speaking to people from London involved in the relief effort, and maybe a couple other cities in the UK as well. All right. So without further ado, let me just bring up some information immediately, so that brothers and sisters, and we're going to keep this up for a while. This is some of the latest information that we have gotten from our brothers and sisters of the Evacuee Alliance Mass, the Evacuee Alliance Mass, who have been leading a lot of the relief efforts from London and surrounding cities. So I believe when MBS again, can't remember what MBS now. But yes, they have been leading a lot of the efforts. And so as you can see here, you've got items that are needed, items required, mattress, blanket, sheets, first aid kits, gloves, masks, blow up beds, medical supplies, plasters, painkillers, antiseptic creams, baby products, nappies, etc. And baby milk wipes, toiletries, and all kind of different things. You can see here, kings and queens, and there's also some contact information. So we're going to keep this up for a while, periodically throughout the show, so you can see this and take down the information. And we're going to leave some of this information also in the chat and put it up on the screen. All right. Right. We're going to bring on our first guest shortly, but we did want to show you just some images. I'm going to leave some of this information also in the chat and put it up on the screen. I'm getting some echo.
Right. So. I'll take my mic off. Yeah.
No. Well, well, I was gonna show the images and get you to explain them. Still.
Yeah. Sure.
So,
go for it.
So, let me mute my.
Okay. You mute you. You flash them. Don't worry. Yes. Okay. So I wanted to share us to share this image because this image shows the picture was just taken. It was about the 11th of April. This is heavy ash fall in Barbados. Yeah. So I want us to see the impact of this volcano on other islands. Like, take this in. It's very, very real. Go ahead. Yeah, you can another one. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, with this one, give me a second. Courtesy of La Soufrière St Vincent. These again are boulders. These are coming out. Obviously, this is when they're talking about the volcanic ash. This is what's coming out of the volcanic ash. Yeah, they call it. There's a particular word for it. It's called pyroclastic density current. Yeah, and it means where the hot ground flows of ash and debris travel at speeds of things like 100 meters per second. Yeah, so this is the kind of thing that's coming up inside of the debris and moving at high speeds. Yeah.
Sis, I've got to load up the rest of the images that you sent me, so we'll come back to them a little bit later.
As you do.
But let us and whilst we've broken that down, let us give thanks for the fact that as far as we are aware, there are no recorded casualties, fatalities, in relation to the La Soufrière earthquake. Sorry, volcanic eruption. Yeah, so we give thanks for that. We give thanks for life. Even as we go forward in terms of assisting our brothers and sisters who are obviously being displaced, and there's all kinds of health considerations. We're dealing with high levels of ash in the air. And so without further ado, let us bring forward our brother on the ground in St. Vincent, brother Jomo Thomas, to give us an idea of what's been taking place and how we can get involved and assist. Greetings, brother Jomo. One second, bro. You're on mute.
Greetings to you. Greetings to the other persons with you, Sister Mutt and brother Doctor, and greetings to all the persons who are listening. And I am absolutely delighted. It is a signal honor for me to be on your program this afternoon to tell you, yesterday we had the 30th eruption for La Soufrière. The eruption started on the 9th of April, and they have continued. And the most recent one, I think, was 4:59 yesterday. We had an eruption. As you correctly said, fortunately for us, there have been no reported casualties, no deaths. And that is in part because the scientific team has been very good at predicting what the volcano would do. And we know beforehand that within 8 to 16 hours, the volcano would have erupted. So when that bell was rung on October 9th, people got out. All of that afternoon, evening, and the volcano never blew first until 8:42 the following morning. So there was a good 12 hours, 16 hours for people to get out. Yes. But as you could see from the pictures, the devastation is immense. What we have had to do is to evacuate the northern third of the island. St. Vincent is a very small island. It's 18 miles long. So imagine having to evacuate coming south about 6 miles. So many of the villages in the north, in all, it is said that about between 16 and 20,000 persons have been evacuated. Most of these persons found shelter, friends and family and colleagues. Some of them rented apartments if they could afford. But at this hour, we have 4,500 persons living in shelters. That has not been an easy task because Most of the shelters are schools or community centers. And if you have an appreciation for the way in which we build schools in the tropics, we are trying to allow cool air in, rather than in the temperate regions like where you are trying to lock. So it's not airtight. And in the early hours of the eruptions, there's an ambulance passing right outside. In the early hours
No
of the
problems, no problems, no problems.
in the early hours of the eruptions, people were moved into these shelters, and the air was thick with sulfur, and there was a tremendous amount of dust. So those early days for the evacuees must have been very, very difficult days. I can tell you that the entire country has been blanketed with ash, more so in the northern region, but even in the south where I live, in the extreme south, there has been a tremendous amount of dust. Uh, it's, as I said, it's now, today's what, the 19th, so it's 10 days since the eruptions began. It has been, as I said, a humanitarian crisis of immense proportions. We have an all points alert has been issued to try to bring whatever assistance we can bring into St. Vincent. I saw a list which you posted a little while ago, which speaks to some of the things that we really need: food, blankets, first aid kits, uh, sanitary things, soap, and other sanitary products. These are the things that we need. In the early hours, we needed water, and we got a lot of water from neighboring countries, Venezuela, all the way up to Trinidad, Barbados. And the good fortune is that the people of the Central Water and Sewage Authority have been able to work and work well. So the water is mainly back on. So we don't need as much water as we needed in the early days, thank goodness. But we do need a lot of other products, some of which you have cited as products that we need. It is important for listeners to know that during the last eruptions of 1979, persons who had to be sheltered or persons who were removed from their homes were out of their homes for 4 months. These eruptions are much more prolonged and they are much more powerful. It may mean that the displacement which began on October 8th may last much longer than the 4 months which were recorded in 1979. This is to say that the assistance which we would need continues to be tremendous. The damage is estimated to be in the hundreds of millions of dollars. The roads are destroyed, the bridges are destroyed, the homes of people. The ash, in many cases, was so heavy that a lot of the roof of the buildings fell in. So even if the volcano stops erupting soon, many people may not have a place to go back to. So that's the difficulty that we have. Those are the needs that we have. We are very, very appreciative of persons who have come forward and offered assistance, and we commend you, Brother Shaka, and all of the other persons who have pitched in to help St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because it is in times like these we really get to know who our brothers keepers are. And you and other brothers and sisters have really come forth to lend assistance and solidarity to our people. And as someone who lives here and have an appreciation for the devastation which this eruption has caused, we are immensely grateful for the assistance which you are offering.
Okay, give thanks, my brother. It's at Got Kush TV as media. It's our duty to highlight, these situations anywhere in the world that our people are. And so we consider it a responsibility. So we appreciate that. Just gonna open to Brother Ankh, Doctor, or Sister Mort if they've got any statements or questions to make at this time. You're on mute, both of you, by the way.
Duamutef, go ahead. Your mic.
You're off mute now.
Okay.
You're off mute. Go on.
Off mute now, yeah. It was interesting hearing you talk about the impact, Jomo, and to the reports that we're getting in the UK, the Eastern Caribbean is seeing quite a lot of volcanic activity at this present time, not just St Vincent, but St Vincent right now primarily has been hit. This volcano eruption, to what we're hearing, actually began in 2020, end of October 2020. What's it been like in terms of on the ground, real time, the relief effort coming from the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Agency, the UN, and the St Vincent government? That's what I just wanted to ask, because being as the volcano, the Soufrière, started rumbling last October, how prepared were St Vincent for what is unfolding right now? You smile, I see.
You're absolutely correct. We started having these what the scientists call effusive eruptions in late October, early November of last year.
Mm-hmm.
So what we had by the effusive eruptions, essentially what was happening is the lava was coming up, but it was building a dome within the volcano itself. What we have happening from the 9th of April is explosive eruption. So essentially, back in 1971, a dome grew in the volcano. And then in 1979, another dome that was enlarged. And then between October and April 8th, a dome outside of that dome grew. But in the first 2 days of the eruption, the 9th and the 10th, that entire dome was blown out of the volcano. And that is all of that ash that we have in St. Vincent, in Barbados, in St. Lucia, in Grenada. In fact, I read a piece from the International Meteorological Organization this morning, which says that much of that ash now hangs over India. So the notice was there, the scientific notice was there that there was serious activity at this volcano. And quite frankly, I think that the preparations could have been much, much better. Because in the early days after the evacuation of citizens from the northern part of the island, people were in homes, people were in the shelters, they had to lay on the floor, they didn't have blankets. In the next morning, the Saturday morning, they had no food. So it is difficult to say all of the things that the authorities did. But I must say, though, that the support from SEDIMA, from the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, and other agencies have been very good, and much of those problems have been solved. So the chaotic first hours and days are settling down now, and the centers the management of the centers are having a better handle on the problems which we have, and things are working much more smoothly. But you were correct to cite that in the early hours, in the early days, it was rough going. But maybe that is to be expected in any disaster anyway. But I think that things are being organized. But one of the best things that happened is that the people at the Central Water and Sewage Authority were able to bring the water back. and to bring it back soon, because you now have a school where you may have 50, 80, 100 persons, and there was no water. That was a main problem. One of the shortfalls of the preparation, in light of the question that you cited that the eruption started all the way back in October, is that there seemed not to be any kind of preparation at all to put tanks of water into those shelter facilities, because it was inevitable that if and when the eruption came, and they did come on October 9th, the ash would have to result in a cutoff of the water system. So, but none of those were in place. But I can tell you, we now have those in place. The water is back, and we are doing much better. People, I mean, you would never be able to be as comfortable as you would be in your own home, no matter how bad your home may be. There's a comfort zone at home. But the people in the shelters, they are complaining still. People are complaining about food. People are complaining about the inability to get some of the things that they want. But it is much, much better today than it was when on the 9th and the 10th and the 11th and even on the 12th.
Go ahead, Sister Mo.
I just want to say, I mean, yeah, appreciate the update on that. I mean, you said something about India, and I saw an alert on one of the St. Lucian Post, and I thought it was really interesting that we haven't heard very much here on it, but one of the things it talks about, there was an alert in St. Vincent where their weather advisory for Europe, and there's a weather advisory for Europe and Africa that dust and ash fall is expected to affect countries in Africa and in Europe in the coming days. Yeah, and this was 5 days ago. So I suppose I'm interested in, and there is a concern. They said, and it says persons with respiratory illness and lung disease are asked to take caution. Yes. So I would, I'm concerned about obviously the impact on people there, on their well-being, their health. That was my kind of immediate call. Like, how is everyone? Yeah. and so obviously we've had no reports about this. So, with all that's going on, if some respiratory illness starts to take effect, we won't know that it's coming from the ash that's, crossing the borders, if you like, right? So, I'd like just to ask you about the health and well-being of the people right now, given the shelters, given the circumstances, that we are currently in. Yeah, just wanted to get an update on that.
Yeah, that's a fundamentally important question, sister. I'm glad that you asked, because I write a weekly column in the local newspaper here, and that's one of the points that I've flagged in my column, which I don't think has gotten enough coverage, and I don't think enough has been done to alert people to that difficulty, because on the 9th and the 10th and the 11th and even the 12th, in the early days when the volcano erupted, people were compelled to keep their doors and windows closed because there was so much dust, so much ash. It was thick and it was coming in. And even now, you would clean a veranda and in a few hours, it comes back. Not as much as in the early days, but it still comes back. So the point I flagged in my column was that there is going to be, in my estimation, a tremendous amount of respiratory illnesses that would be as a direct result of the volcanic eruption. Because now, what we have is a situation where if you look outside, it is clear, much is clear like any other day that we had before the eruption started. But because there are billions and billions and trillions of dust particles in the atmosphere, and these particles are microscopic in many respects, we can't see them, but they're impacting us, and we are ingesting them. They're going into our eyes, they're going into our nostrils, they're going into our mouth and into our throat and into our lungs. So unless we take very close attention, that's going to be a problem that I perceive coming down. The other big question, as it relates to your other big issue as it relates to your question has to do with the mental health of people. Because it is one thing to wake up in your home this morning and the next thing you have to run for cover. And you are not sure when you're going to go back. And then when you look at the pictures that are coming from your area, you are seeing mass devastation, mass destruction. The, the, um, the vegetation in that part of the country is completely gone. So the coconut trees, the mango trees, the fruit trees, the banana trees. So agriculture would be is devastated in that part of the country. And people, animals have also been lost because not only the heat would have killed them, but because it was so hot, even the rivers dried out. So they did not have a chance to hydrate themselves. And compounding that is the dust that is on the ground and the dust that's on the trees. So, for example, the goat and the sheep and the cattle and so on, they would start ingesting that dust. So, not only is it having a human toll, it is having a toll on life generally, whether it's animal life or human life. So, those are the big problems that are looming, and we would be well advised to continue to take precautions. In fact, I made the point in my column that it may be best for people to continue wearing masks until the rainy season comes in June. We had a good shower of rain this morning, and that really helped. I'm sure a number of persons probably did a war dance or chant, but that prayer was answered, and we had a significant amount of rain this morning. So that helped to clear out the atmosphere and to keep down the dust, because in the last 10 days or so, it was really dry after the eruptions.
We give thanks to the people them we know the rain dance and all these things. You know what I'm saying? We keep our African spiritual retention strong. And all these things. I do want to bring through our next guest, all the way over there in Barbados, an island that is sits relatively close to St Vincent and the Grenadines. He is the Barbados representative to CARICOM, the Caribbean community, and also a part of the Reparations Commission of CARICOM, a very well-known activist in our global Pan-African community. I'm going to introduce you now to Brother David Commission. Greetings, Brother David.
Greetings, thank you. Great to be here. Good to see you, Brother Jomo.
Good to see you too, my brother.
Keeping in good spirits.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us, Brother David Commission. And I do like these guests are not no joke business guests, Kings and Queens. Like we're taking Got Kush TV on another level when we have people like Brother Jomo and Brother David, on the show. They're on a smart body, Kings and Queens. So we give thanks for their works. And they're here largely because of the fact that man was able to use the resource of the Pan-African network, what I'm saying, the Pan-African Global Network. I put a call out to one of our brothers over here, Brother Glenroy, and said to him, who can we get on the show? And him send me about 5 different contacts one time, all in the Caribbean, Kings and Queens. That's just through the strength, of the Pan-African Organization Network. All right. So just give thanks for that, and thank you both for being here. Brother David, I really, because of your role, obviously in Barbados and also in CARICOM, you have quite a good vantage point to look at it from the local as well as the regional point of view. I think it's a good place to start is to assess the impact that the volcano has had on Barbados in particular.
Yes, well, the impact was very severe, particularly when the volcano first erupted. Generally speaking, the direction of the wind is across the Atlantic towards the west. However, that lower level western drift of the wind sets up a counter-cyclical eastern drift of the wind at a higher altitude. So when the eruption first took place, it was so explosive that the ash went into the higher reaches of the atmosphere. And in those higher reaches, the air is moving in a counter-cyclical direction, east rather than west. So a lot of the ash was taken directly to Barbados, which is just about 100 miles to the east of St. Vincent. So Barbados was deluged with ash. I mean, it shut down the country. It shut down the airport, and we were in serious trouble. You know, all the issues I heard Jomo speaking about, the respiratory issues. Right now, still, my house is totally closed up. All windows, all doors. So you're in a kind of claustrophobic situation. But we talk about volcanic ash. It is not really ash. It is very small stone particles. You know, these very small particles of rock that have been smashed into these small particles by the volcanic eruption. So this is very dangerous. It's very dangerous to breathe in for these stone particles to get into your lungs. And so Jomo is quite right. You know, I said to Jomo, he probably didn't understand what I was saying, that you know, we've been wearing masks to deal with COVID, but you would still have a few people resisting the wearing of masks. But when we were hit with this volcanic ash, everybody in the country was suddenly wearing masks, you know, without exception. So probably the silver lining is probably going to help us with the COVID prevention, you know. But yes, fortunately for us, in recent days, the eruptions have not been as intense. So the ash is not currently reaching into the higher reaches of the atmosphere that would bring it to the east, which is probably not good news for Kingstown, because if the ash is drifting west, you know, where Barbados is spared, Kingstown will get the ash. Let's hope it drifts to the south, Jomo, so that we are both spared. But yes, Barbados, we were able to do a lot of cleaning up over the weekend. So our airport is now open again, and things are looking pretty good. So we just hope we don't get deluged again. But a lot of effort went into cleaning up Barbados. And Jomo, one of the things I've done, I've tried to reach out to folk in Chile, for example. Some of these countries that have long experience of dealing with volcanoes, dealing with volcanic ash. This is some of the expertise. We certainly don't have it in Barbados, because this is a new thing to us. So we don't have the expertise. St. Vincent, maybe you have more expertise than us, but we probably need to look at importing some expertise from countries that deal with volcanoes on a virtually ongoing basis. So I've reached out to the Chilean ambassador to Barbados to see if we can access some of their expertise. But that's it. That's it. Basically, Barbados is in a much better position than St. Vincent, and so we are giving St. Vincent all the solidarity we can. We know what it is, because we have had a little taste of what they are undergoing, and so they have our full support and solidarity.
David,
And again,
the government.
Give thanks for that. Go ahead.
Experts from New Zealand who has experience with volcanic eruptions, who have been tapped, and some of them are in St. Vincent now.
Mm-hmm. It's important, yes.
And I would just ask again, in terms of the impact that it's having on the people over there in Barbados. I'm up from Barbados Christchurch.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm from Kingston.
One Caribbean and all that.
This is home now.
Yes.
So I just wanted to find out how the people are doing? Because obviously it's not direct, but it's indirect. And you were talking about the airports. I think we showed an image of the cars earlier in Barbados, and the rocks that you were just speaking about as well, and that debris that's coming through. How is it impacting on, again, the well-being of people over there? How are they managing? How are they coping? What's the support structure?
Well, first of all, Afro-Caribbean people are very hardy people. Huh? We are product of centuries of the most intense oppression that mankind has experienced, and we survived. So we are very hardy people. But in addition to that, Barbados is a very organized country, and we are blessed with a very, very proactive leader who has a great gift for communication. So she speaks to the Barbadian people often, but she speaks their language. So she connects emotionally with the people of Barbados. And so the whole country really rose to the challenge. Yes, so I would say that we have acquitted ourselves very well. From the political leadership, gave the marching orders. All the stops were pulled out. She was very clear that we had to deal with the ash immediately. She called upon the entire country, everybody, to clean up. We had to clean up around our own houses. She was very clear. We didn't want this ash getting into drains and gutters. We didn't want it solidifying because it was going to cause us problems a few months down the road, So she was very, very proactive, pulled out all the stops. And today, I would say we are in a very good place. But it all depends on this volcano. If this volcano tomorrow decides that it is going to erupt very violently again and send ash Barbados's way, we could be right back to square one. So we are only hoping and praying that that we are past the worst where this volcano is concerned. It's a peculiar thing. Barbados is a coral island. We are outside of the chain of the Caribbean. The Caribbean islands are basically the remnants of a volcanic mountain range that was submerged. And so most of the Caribbean islands are very, very mountainous, very green, and with volcanic activity. Barbados is one of the exceptions. We are coral island outside of the chain, that mountain range. And so the idea of a volcano is kind of foreign to Barbados. However, this experience has brought home to us that we are umbilically linked to St. Vincent. So St. Vincent's volcano is our volcano as well. And I think this experience, I think, is going to have an impact on the psyche of Barbadians as to how we see ourselves and how we factor in that part of our own Caribbean reality is a volcano, because this has really brought it home to us. I mean, we listen out for the news now, Jomo. When you put out that thing yesterday on the WhatsApp chat that the volcano Supria had erupted, so we are all listening out to hear now, because the ash gets to us in 90 minutes.
Right.
If there is a severe eruption in St. Vincent, in 90 minutes time, once that ash is coming in an easterly direction. So I was looking out for it, Jomo. I was, counting down the minutes, the 90 minutes. And then when we recognize, well, we are not seeing it, then we recognize that it was not powerful enough to push the ash into the higher reaches of the atmosphere. But that is going to become part of our psyche now. This thinking, this understanding that this is part of our Caribbean reality as well. But we're okay. We're okay.
Give thanks for that, brother David. I just wanted to show this map, yeah, just to give people an idea of the geography, yeah, of the Caribbean surrounding St. Vincent. So as you can see, St. Vincent's in the middle. To the east, you can see Barbados. To the north, you can see St. Lucia, and to the south, you can see Grenada. And just above St. Lucia is obviously Martinique, yeah. So I wanted to ask you, brother David, in terms of the other islands, Grenada, St. Lucia, and anywhere else, has there been any significant impact in anywhere else other than St. Vincent and Barbados?
I would say no. St. Lucia got a little bit, Grenada got a little bit, but nothing to really cause them great concern. So it's basically St. Vincent and Barbados that have felt the impact.
Okay, give thanks. And so in your capacity as a representative to CARICOM, give us an idea of how this is being addressed at the level of the Caribbean community. We know that a lot of relief efforts and people have been pledging to house and intake well, quote unquote refugees should the needs arise. We know that Grenada and has sent water and so on and so forth. But how is CARICOM as a body organizing to address this issue?
Well, CARICOM has an institution called the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency. What it is, it's an umbrella institution that links together all of the national emergency management organizations of the 15 CARICOM member states. Plus, on top of that, it has its own central institutional structure. So it has its headquarters here in Barbados. It has its own staff here in Barbados. It's called CDEMA, and the whole idea behind CDEMA is the idea of collective security. So the CDEMA arrangement says that anytime any one member state is affected by a natural disaster, all of the member states will come to the assistance of that member state. So for example, in 2019, when the Bahamas was hit by Hurricane Dorian, and there was a lot of devastation, St. Vincent would have been coming to the assistance of the Bahamas. So now that it is St. Vincent's turn, all of the member states of CDEMA are expected to either make donations of money, to make donations towards the needs list that the government of St. Vincent has put out and will continue to put out as they go along, or to make contributions of personnel, whether it be scientists, technical personnel, security, army officers. So yes, and so on Thursday of last week, there was a special CARICOM heads of government meeting where they all came together. CDEMA gave a report to that meeting. The Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, he spoke. And basically, it was a meeting at which all the CARICOM nations kind of touched base and gave reassurances to St. Vincent as to what each of them would be contributing to the effort. So, we have St. Vincent's back. It is clear that this disaster is going to call upon us to give support to St. Vincent for several months. This is not a short-term, one-off thing. And the truth is, the governments cannot do it alone. All of our governments are cash-strapped, resource-strapped. It's been a very difficult time with COVID-19. But the Caribbean people have stepped up. There are all kinds of relief drives, people doing items. St. Vincent has sent out its needs list. So people are filling the barrels and sending to St. Vincent, but also money is being collected. I mean, I heard in Barbados last night, one of the service clubs that has collected $100,000 already to donate. So the infrastructure is there. The infrastructure really consists of the national emergency institutions in every country, plus the headquarters of SEDEMA here in Barbados. And attached to that, we have like the regional security system, for example. That's where our militaries come together. So they have sent army officers to St. Vincent to help with security. Trinidad and Tobago has sent police officers. They have sent water trucks. So basically, we understand. We have St. Vincent's back, and we are going to be there. We are going to be there with St. Vincent right through. Then, we're going to be there for sure.
Give time. I got Sir Influential waiting in the wings, so we're going to bring him through shortly. And we've got another sister called Rachel, who's also on the ground in St. Vincent, and so we're going to speak to her soon as well. Did you have a question for Brother David, Aunt Doctor? Sorry, bro, you're on mute. Go ahead. You're off mute now. Go ahead.
Yeah, pleased to meet you, Brother David.
Thanks, Reds.
In relation to CARICOM and the assistance being brought forth to the Caribbean, it's similar to the question I'm going to ask Jomo, because I asked Jomo, was it about 5 years ago at the St. Vincent High Commission in London, got Kush TV, we interviewed a hydrologist scientist from the Caribbean by the name of Dr. Elizabeth Smith Mullins. And she was very specific in that she was saying that she was hoping the Caribbean could be more prepared for things like volcanic eruptions, things like hurricanes, tsunamis, because these would be becoming a lot more frequent due to the climate change, or what is being called climate change at this present time. So once again, I asked, how prepared will Barbados be? Because as I asked Jomo, and I said to Jomo earlier on, volcanic eruptions are going to become a lot more frequent within the next 10, 15 years. This has been made crystal clear by the University of the West Indies. And the 19 volcanoes across the Eastern Caribbean, according to all the studies, geological studies right now, are active. So once again, how prepared do you feel that the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Agency will be prepared for this, as well as the individual governments, bearing in mind what you just said, that we tend to be reactive instead of proactive? So I'm really saying, what lessons can we learn from this, knowing that more eruptions will be happening more frequently, and how prepared can we be for it in the near future?
Just as a rider to that, Aunt Doctor, if I may, and Brother David, if I may, in the sense that, you know, Managavi out here, so we know say Marcus Garvey was on the CARICOM thing, or a concept like CARICOM, from the 1920s and 30s. Well, before that even. But in terms of the political unity of the Caribbean, we, you know, there's a phrase, but then there's also a saying that we don't come together for nothing other than the cricket, yeah, which is a good thing to come together for still. But you know what I mean, we need something more than that to address them situation, yeah. So in the sense of my rider to the question is in the sense of the lessons in terms of the political, because like you said, all of the governments by themselves are, you know, low resourced and strapped for cash and them kind of things there. So are there lessons to be learned in terms of that political unity on the CARICOM level?
Can I just add on top of, can I add an extra?
You want to add to the ad? Add to the ad.
An extra piece to what our doctor was saying, because I do have a concern that the countries and surrounding countries were not prepared. I can't, you know, we have enough technology, and in my research of, you know, volcanoes in this time, you know, you have what they call volcanists, they call them, yeah, who study volcanoes, you know, the thermal imaging for volcanoes. You have a spectrometer that measures the gases from the magma. You've got you've even got like lasers that are really that track precisely, yeah, the rising magma that expands the volcano. So I'm interested in, you know, I'm just going to be straight. It's not a surprise on some level, yeah, that you're dealing with what you're dealing with now. And I think we have to be prepared as a community, as different countries, to be prepared not to be told things in advance. Yeah, and we have to be more self-sufficient. And so again, it just adds on top of what Duamutef was saying, Doctor was saying about preparation and what the governments are really going to do with all the technology that you have. You know, we are now, you know, the world is mask wearing and you're mask wearing, you know, so I'm conscious of the connections of those things. It's hard to not see those connections and wanting to get a sense of, okay, how is the government going to, and what's in place, because there are, you know, systems that are already lodged in place.
Let me ask you a question. How many fatalities have there been with this eruption of the Soufriere volcano?
None.
As far as we're aware, none. Yeah.
We're
None.
aware of. Yeah.
You know
none.
why there have been none?
Because there was forward planning of evacuation.
There have been none because we were prepared. You know, we don't have a political union in the Caribbean, you know, and we had it in the days of the Federation that collapsed. And it might be, it is probably going to be difficult to get back there. I say that because in my time at CARICOM, I haven't heard that kind of notion being pushed. But we have the Caribbean community, and one of the things we do well in the Caribbean community is functional cooperation. So the reason why there were no fatalities, we have a University of the West Indies, which is functional cooperation. We come together to do one regional university, and that university has a seismic research center that studies volcanoes. In addition, we had a volcano in Montserrat back in the 1990s. So as a result of that, we have a volcano monitoring center with several volcanologists stationed in Montserrat. So as soon as it became clear in late 2020 that something was happening with Soufriere, SIDIMA was on the job from the 29th of December 2020, and scientists were brought into St. Vincent from the volcano monitoring facility in Montserrat. SIDIMA undertook a 7-day helicopter survey of the Soufriere volcano, and they brought in additional monitoring equipment from Montserrat to install at Soufriere to monitor what was happening with the volcano. So the reason why, first of all, the reason why the evacuation order, St. Vincent was able to send out the evacuation order in time to get people evacuated before the volcano erupted, was because the scientists, the Caribbean scientists were there. The equipment was in place to alert them as to what was happening. So the point I'm making is that we are not as defenseless as some people tend to think. Sometimes we don't do a very good job of spreading the word about our institutions. We have 17 CARICOM institutions and 8 assistant institutions of CARICOM. So we cover a lot of areas, from education to public health, to agriculture, to climate change, to renewable energy, you name it. So SIDIMA was engaged with the St. Vincent and the Grenadines government since late December, engaging in evacuation planning for the shelters and so forth. What they shared, what I can perhaps tell you is that, so yes, so a lot of this planning went on, and things were not perfect, because at the end of the day, we still have resource constraints. St. Vincent has resource constraints. Sedema has resource constraints. But had we not engaged in the level of planning that we did do, we would not have acquitted ourselves as well as we have done. So you would have heard, I heard Jomo say that things were not perfect at the shelters to begin with, but bear this in mind. So there was no, as Prime Minister Gonzalez said, there's not perfection, but bear this in mind. When that volcano erupted that Friday, with the drop of a hat, St. Vincent put in place 80-something government shelters. Now, even if you say there was deficiencies in those shelters, I mean, to be able to put in place 80-something shelters, you know, within a matter of hours, you know, tells you that somebody was doing something right. And to be able to, yes, there was some chaos associated with the evacuation, but at the end of the day, the people were evacuated without any loss of life. Now, I know that there's some hard-nosed people, especially from the orange zone, who have refused to be evacuated. So that is a cause for concern. But everybody who wished to be evacuated, they were able to get out without any loss of life. So, but generally speaking, we are very concerned about climate change in the Caribbean. We are very concerned that the hurricanes that we are experiencing every year are becoming increasingly violent. We are very concerned that we have not really contributed to global warming. It is the big industrial countries that have done so, but that we are the ones who find ourselves on the firing line. So whereas Europe and North America, you know, are responsible for this increase in global temperatures that cause these hurricanes to become even more powerful, they are not the ones facing the power of these hurricanes. We are the ones facing it. So we are doing the best we can to demand that we be properly compensated, that programs be put in place to help us to better prepare for some of these challenges. Hurricane, yes, I guess this experience with Soufriere is going to make us more aware of the of the volcano threat. We have been more focused, let's say, on the hurricane as opposed to the volcano. But we also have droughts associated with climate change. We have had the invasion of sargassum seaweed that has caused us a lot of grief as well. So the Caribbean is very much on the front line of a lot of these challenges, and we are doing the best we can with our limited resources. And yes, we could always do better. We need more resources. We need bigger countries to be more responsible and to to compensate us for the damage that they continue to cause us. But within the limits of our resources, I think it is fair to say that we have done an extremely good job.
Give thanks for that insight, Brother David. Very good answer. I'm sure you know there's more we could probe there, but we appreciate that information. And you're right. Oftentimes we don't flag up the institutions that we have and the work that is being done. So on that note, big respect, to the scientists on the ground who were able to coordinate a situation as to where there are no casualties, there are no fatalities. And so respect to that work and give thanks for life. I've just got this graphic on the screen right about now so people can get an idea of Wagwan. As you can see, the volcano is in the north, the very north of the country. And so the different zones, in order of danger, descend below. So I believe, Brother Jomo, you'd be in the green part, right? You there, the green, right down on the south, there, so. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we give thanks for that. Right. Yeah, all right, cool. So when it's giving you a graphic idea of the layout of the land, kings and queens. Right now, I want to bring in 3 other people. Yeah, first and foremost, the brother that we saw on Thursday last week on Quarantine Convos, who's been central to the relief effort as it's being managed here in the UK. Greetings once again to Sir Influential. Greetings.
Yes. Greetings, blessings to everyone. Pleasure to be here again. Definitely enjoyed the conversation so far, and I'm very, very pleased to hear that there was prior preparation from the CARICOM organizations and affiliated groups. In terms of the UK here now, we
all on there, Sir Influential, all on there. Let me bring through everybody, and we'll get to all of you, so that everyone's not waiting in the wings here. I'm gonna bring through a UK legend, yeah, and I'm not underestimating overstating the thing, because if you're born and grow up UK and you have anything to do with soca and you don't come across this brother here, you're not deal with the thing proper. And the site go. You know what I'm saying, kings and queens. I want to introduce you to the soca prince himself, the one and only Mr. Martin J. Greetings, Martin J.
Good evening, everybody.
Let me say to you what I said. Let me say publicly what I said to you privately, my brother. It's an honor to be speaking to you, because I listen to you for the all of my life. And so yeah, man, respect is due. Respect is due. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the grays in the beard for nothing, bro. You put in work. You know what I'm saying? And we give thanks for your works. You know, we give thanks for your works in terms of preserving and proliferating our culture in this former colonizer land. You know what I mean? So we give thanks. We give thanks for that. We're gonna come to you in a second, and we're gonna also go right back to St Vincent with a sister on the ground who has been prolific in terms of her work, in terms of coordinating the relief efforts and also keeping us informed in the UK as to Wagwan, because yes, she live, but she went to St Vincent prior to the eruption. And greetings and welcome to Sister Rachel.
Hi.
Greetings and thank you for joining us, my sister. Are you listening on YouTube? Are we getting some feedback from you?
No.
Okay, all right. So what I might ask you to do is jump out and jump back in if you can. Because sometimes the StreamYard does, go on with some foolishness, so you might have to reset. Is that all right?
No problem.
Give thanks, sister. Give thanks. Right, Sir Influential. Yeah, you've been living up to your name in relation to the efforts. So let me not even ask you a question. Let me allow you to say what you were trying to say a while ago before I introduce Martin J.
Yes. So what I was saying was I'm glad to see the efforts on the Caribbean side, and also here in the UK, I can still say that the efforts are still flooding through. Obviously, I'm in the same group as with Martin J in terms of the logistics with the help SVG UK, and it's been a pleasure to see how we've did the knee-jerk response, like I said last week, and it was an overwhelming response. And even still now, we still have people, I'm sure Martin will be still going off as well. And mine is still going off saying, oh, I want to donate. What can I donate? How do I donate? Where do I donate? And luckily, there's a specific location now in London for people to donate directly to, from tomorrow right through to Thursday, 7 to 9:30 p.m., where they can come down, and we have a specific list as well now for what they need to bring. We've told them the time, how to label it, how to package it in order for it to get out to St Vincent and the Grenadines in time to flow. Because now what we're concerned with, and I'll allow Martin J to elaborate more on this, is not to have a massive backlog of things, because we can appreciate and know that the Caribbean regionally is assisting very well. So Martinique is assisting, Grenada is assisting, Trinidad is assisting, and St. Lucia was assisting, obviously made an attempt to assist, but their vessel unfortunately sunk on the way, and their crew were rescued. And we know that our brothers and sisters in America are preparing to assist as well. So
yeah. Can I just say, give thanks? Sorry, just not to interrupt you, but just to say again, even with the sinking of that vessel, big streamliner, yeah, but there were no casualties again. All right. Yes. So we want to just respect to the people in that was at ground zero where that is concerned, because it looked like at every juncture, life I see wrong, yeah. So we also give thanks for life. Yeah.
So we're definitely trying to now, as Help SVG UK, work in alignment with all the other entities to ensure that we're not sending a surplus of certain things and then missing out on other essential things as well. And also we want to flow in a way where it's long-term and sustainable. So that's all I would like to add and say here. And obviously I'll leave the floor to Martin J and Rachel to jump in and give their contributions as well, because I'm sure Martin J has a lot to say as well.
Go ahead, brother Martin.
There. Yes, good evening, everybody. As so influential said, we are working very, very hard to make sure that we work speedily to get things in place. Because I think that I think it was a Thursday evening, when I saw that something was going to happen, I immediately got on the phone to Nally and said, "Oi, we got to do something. We got to put something in place now." And I think it was us being that swift that enabled us. But by Sunday, we could tell the whole of England, this is what we're doing. And whilst it was a chaotic collection, when I think back to so influential being overwhelmed with stuff, to other ladies that had their houses overturned for 3 or 4 days whilst we were trying to pack it and load it up. I'm very proud of the fact that we were able to fill 2 containers in the space of a week. And now that we begin operation number 2, we've got the opportunity to fill 1 container. And as each container gets booked, it's going to become more and more strategic in the way that we do it. So tomorrow we start our donation drive at the Tudor Rose. And the reason why we're only using 1 venue, because a lot of people are saying to me, why do I have to go all the way to Tudor Rose? For me to do a donation drive properly, I've got to think about COVID-19 protocol. Yeah. So all the volunteers have got to be tested. All the volunteers have got to have masks. All the volunteers have got to have PPE. I can do that in a controlled space. If I had 4 or 5 or 6 different places, it would just be impossible to do. I know that we're going to be overwhelmed with donations. I had a video from one of our team just about 5 minutes ago. They're in Peterborough. They've got a truckload of stuff already. But what has really, really impressed me has been the camaraderie of the Caribbean, the spirit of the Caribbean, and the strength of the Caribbean. Jamaicans, Bajans, Trinis, Grenadines, Lucians, everybody coming together and just wanting to get it done and wanting to keep getting it done as well. So that's been really, really important for me.
Thank you very much, brother Martin J. And yeah, and bro, you've been central to a few of these things, right? Because we're not unused to the hurricane and the, you know what I'm saying, and them kind of things there. But I think you've got past experience with coordinating some of these efforts, if I'm not mistaken.
I wouldn't say coordinating these efforts. I think that would be me. But obviously, I was on Choice FM when a lot of the hurricanes happened, and so I was the first port of call in terms of, can we get information out? I remember with Hurricane Ivan, the High Commissioner said, "Martin, I need to come on your show." I said, "Hi, don't worry. The whole show is yours. Let's do this. We got 3 hours. Come in, sit down, tell the people what you got to tell them." I think with this one, now that I look back on it, I was just in a position to help in a very different way, even down to liaising with a shipping company. Right. That's a huge process all on its own. Imagine. But I'm just glad that I've been in a position to help the way that I have helped this time. I've learned a lot over the years, and it's probably given me the ability to do what we've done this month.
Well, on a lighter note, my family is from Jamaica and Antigua, and I think that Martin J has done quite a bit as well to allow ignorant Jamaicans to overcome their fear of soca. So we give thanks, you know what I'm saying, for that too, you know what I mean? Because we're up on the soca thing right now, and the waistline well greased. Yeah, so we give thanks. All right, Sister Rachel, welcome to the thing.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to mute everybody else here because we're still getting that echo, but so don't feel offended. But yeah, just for quality control. respect to you, my sister, because ever since the earthquake went up, I've been hearing your name, yeah, you know what I'm saying, non-stop, and seeing your face all about the place. So just respect to you for the work that you've been doing. Did you, first of all, I understand that you went to St Vincent prior to the eruption. Did you go there knowing that this was imminent, or was you just going upon a holiday? You was just going home?
No, I was coming home. I mean, I came home in October. I came to look after my grandparents because they live here, elderly, in the pandemic, etc. And they needed some help. So as I was studying, I was the one in my family who was able to actually take some time out and come down. So I left the UK in October, and I'm still here. So yeah, that's why I came down. I mean, we heard that this could happen in December. And my family sort of said to me, Rach, you're the strongest one. You know Vincey back to front. You got your own vehicle. You're the one that's going to have to sort of stay there and make sure they're okay if anything does happen. I mean, I didn't expect it to be like this, but I was prepared to help when and in the eventuality that something did pop off, which it obviously has.
Quite literally. Yeah. In fact, what has your experience been like?
I mean, I was listening to a lot of the elders prior to this eruption, and I honestly didn't think for a second. Wait, let me just say, I didn't know a volcano could erupt more than once. I thought it's just a bang, it's erupted, we clean up, we move on. You know, I actually had no clue. I was very oblivious to the fact that a volcano, once it exploded, can keep exploding. So that's the first thing. And then, yeah, listening to a lot of the elders here, you know, constantly just talking about 79, and everyone was just kind of unbothered. So it kind of passed down to me as being unbothered as well, because everyone's like, oh, you know, just a little ash, and we went up and, you know, we got back on with it, and you know, I just had to go and rescue some goats so I didn't lose my livestock. So I think that kind of filtered down to the younger ones, and we just was really kind of just unbothered. It didn't hit us that, you know, this could be really bad. And I think that's where I fell down, you know, because I should have actually looked it up better and, you know, been more prepared myself. So yeah, that was before. And then since this started, I mean, I don't know, people don't know, but I'm a community and youth worker, trained professional. So when this all happened on Thursday night, Friday, I knew, right, Friday, there was no time to sit on this. We had to get out. We had to get help. We had to start fundraising. We had to start spreading the word. And literally my social media, I've never, ever seen so many messages, so many mentions, so many reporters contacting me. You know, it's been crazy. And I'm happy that I can help spread awareness. But at the same time, you know, it's just been so busy getting the help out there. Like I said, we've been flat out since the eruption on Friday morning. We've been just going at 100 miles an hour. And I think Saturday night was my longest sleep. I actually slept for 5.5 hours. So that's how busy we've been, you know. And all of my team, we don't want to take our eye off the emails, off the messages, off the phone. It's constantly on. It's like a 24/7 service at the moment, you know, and it is tiring. You can see from my luggage under my eyes that it's been,
no, you look beautiful.
Quite
you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Look well shined, you know. You look well. The very last question, we spoke about the conversation a little piece, yeah. It just give us an idea of just like what the practical hands-on work has been on the ground. You know what I'm saying, and what kind of things you've been facilitating and that kind of thing. I think that's important to let our people know.
My social media has always been quite active. Like I've been on the BBC before, I've been in all kind of news doing articles or whatever. So I knew as soon as I put something on my social media, it was going to catch. So I said, right, cool, let me do that. So the help that we've been helping with is just getting immediate help. Like everybody sort of said, you know, start a GoFundMe and do this and do that. And I said, no, I haven't got time for that. You know, I've got mothers and babies and elderly people that need help today, right now. I can't wait to clear funds from GoFundMe. I can't wait for containers. So my thing was, I want to start taking donations through my online store to get the help. So literally people send me £10. I take that £10 and go and buy a bottle of gas. Or people send me, you know, £2.50. I can go and buy lunch for some of the children that we're looking after, you know. So that's our help. So we're basically taking donations through the AC store, and that help is going straight back not only to the families that need our help right now, but it's also helping to keep the economy alive. Like I said, I've been in St Vincent my whole life since I was born. Even though I was born in the UK, I've grown up in St Vincent. You know, I've spent every single summer, every Christmas, every Easter here. So I know how important it is to not let the economy crash as well. You know, that was very important to me. And our Prime Minister said, you know, send your family money, send people so they can keep spending, keep the people in jobs, etc. So as much as the outside help is important and we need to keep collecting and sending stuff over, to me, you know, buying locally, supporting the local farmers, the people that are still selling their plantain and yam and dasheen on the side of the road, you know, helping them as well as buying stuff from them and then taking that out to the people was very, very important to me. And that's the sort of stuff that we've been doing, my team and I here on the ground. So that's what we've been doing. And then obviously we've been liaising with Martin, Lisa, Nali to you know, get the collections going in the UK, spread awareness about that. Because some stuff, you know, like we can't get here at the moment, like asthma pumps. I'm appealing for anyone who has a link with a doctor or a nurse or hospital to send asthma pumps. Like, we need them. You know, I don't know when they're going to come, but we need loads. So, you know, stuff like that is what I've been working on and trying to get sent over and, you know, just get more help. So that's what we've been doing here.
Thank you for that, my sister. I'm just gonna open up the conversation slightly. Duamutef, sister, if you've got any questions to ask, please do so now. And also, brothers and sisters in the chat, yeah, if you've got a question, feel free to ask it in the chat to any of our guests, and we'll forward the questions. Yeah, please go ahead.
Namaste to you, Sister Rachel. Want to commend you. Yeah, you're a blessing, sister, from the ancestors. All right. I want to ask, how well is what is being collated and what is managing to reach? What not sink of the sea, yeah, because as my brother ShakaRa said, a boat has already sunk. How well is it being distributed, that which is being collected at this present time? Because I know there's a worry often, especially in England, when we have massive drives and people give, etc. How well is it getting out to those it needs to get out to and getting out to everybody? Because like all countries, there are areas sometimes that people don't like to go into or don't like to visit. Yeah. So I know you said you got your team on the ground. Is all areas or villages within St. Vincent being catered for in terms of making sure they're getting water, making sure they're getting sanitary things, making sure that they're getting hygiene things, making sure, as you say, they're getting the dasheen still, the planting still, the tin foods, whatever's being collected? How well is the distribution, bearing in mind as well, that's got to be done with all of the debris from the volcano, the ash, etc.?
So I think now, last week was chaotic, sort of leading up from Friday till about Wednesday. It was quite chaotic, and there was a lot of people in shelters that weren't getting stuff. And that we were helping those. So we were getting the private messages, people saying, okay, this lady needs this, or this shelter manager needs this. And then towards the end of the week, that started to get sorted out. So that relief was going to the shelters, and it started to level out. So that was really good. So our focus now is more, you know, there's registered shelters and then there's private homes. I mean, even myself, I have a family staying with me who are sheltering. They're from Spring Village. So they've came down. So people like myself, obviously I can provide for my guys that are staying with me, but other families that might not be able to provide, you know, that have massive families in their house. Like I went to one house last week and they had 12 extra people in their house, and it's only one lady working. So those are the kind of people that we are trying to get out to, that are contacting us and saying, look, I'm working, but I have a whole family here. They're registered with a shelter, but, you know, people ain't getting to us. Can you help? Yes, we can. We want to hear from those people. We want to get to those people. So, I mean, like I said, the registered shelters, I think they're doing pretty well now, but it's the private ones, the private homes, and a lot of empty homes in places like Arnisvale, Calicoa, Prospect, Stubbs. They've all been filled. So like, say, I don't know, Jelani had a house here and he said, you know what, break the lock, use the house, have it for, you know, a shelter, but his house had no gas, no lights. So it's those sort of people that we're trying to help at the moment, you know, because they are registered, but where they are, there's so many of them, you know, so they might not be getting the help from where they need to be getting it from. You know, I'm not going to call names, etc. But I know that through us, they can get that help, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So that's what we've been doing. Yeah. So I think, like I said, the registered shelters and everybody that's, the sick, the elderly, these kind of people that are in those places, everybody's being looked after very well. But yeah, it is more of the people that, and Vincentians, right? This has got on my nerves. They have a lot of pride, and some people don't want to say, hi, I'm Rachel, I've been displaced, I need help, and it's taking people from the UK to say, go check my cousin, man, she's struggling, but she don't want to holler at you guys, so it's those sort of things that we're facilitating and getting people to let us know, even if these people don't want to contact us themselves, somebody else can, and we will phone them, we'll have a conversation and say, and get the help to them. So yeah, that's it.
It's the Garifuna, it's the Garifuna, the Garifuna warrior, so what I mean, the set guy, that kind of energy there, what I mean. Yo, I want to shout out St Vincent for producing some of my favorite music ever in life. What I'm saying, from the from the Garifuna people them to Beckett and all them people there, we love the Vincent vibration. All right, family. Anybody else? Open conversation.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I know that we've got a little bit of trouble with everything right now, so
sorry, family. I'm sorry, sorry. I am managing the controls here, so just a quick thing. If I mute you, don't feel offended. It's just I'm managing the quality control. All right. Go ahead, Sister Mo.
Yeah, I just your if you like request for asthma pumps. Yeah. I would urge the communities, if there's, in terms of respiratory situations, coming from as a health professional, start looking into black seed oil. Yeah, black seed oil, cumin. In the Indian communities, they have very low asthma rates because of the cumin, which is in black seed oil. So we can have a conversation. I'm sharing this because my son had asthma at 7 and I cured it in 2 weeks. Yeah, so I'm just saying, let's not wait on something that also it's suppressing. All it's doing is suppressing what's already there. It's about getting under that. Yeah, because when the brother we talked about the ash and the impact of the ash going forward. And you weren't here a little earlier, but there was an alert that was on the last phrase. There was an Insta, and there was an alert that spoke about how the ash in the next, say, 5 days, and that was a 5 days ago post. So technically it's kind of here, but there will be the ash will start to filter and come to parts like Africa and Europe, and that those who have any respiratory illness or disease have to take caution. So obviously the time and climate that we're in right now, black seed oil for family, all of you, yeah, is important.
We say system. We have to start consult grandma and great grandma.
Yes, man. Amen.
I tell remember them. You know what? I got a related question for anybody who can answer it, right? Because I remember sitting in my geography class in East London, yeah, when we did go to school, and when we studied geology and volcanic eruptions, one of the things that we were taught is that oftentimes after a volcanic eruption is when you get some of the most fertile land ever, because the lava is fertile out the place, yeah. But I just heard a while ago that the kind of ash from Brother David, that the kind of ash that is coming out of the volcano can actually have the opposite effect in terms of killing the land, yeah. So where is that? Is this even a consideration yet? Or is it too early to have that conversation? What are the prospects in terms of the vitality of the land once the volcano eases up and people are able to migrate north again? Is that even a relevant question right now? I don't know.
I can speak to that issue. There's a dialectic to this, because part of the difficulty that we are having now, the immediate aftermath of the eruption, is that there's a lot of sulfur in the air, and there's a lot of sulfur in the volcanic ash itself. So that has essentially scorched off the vegetation on the slopes of the volcano, and where the ash fell on vegetation generally, whether it's fruit trees or coconut trees, it has the heat plus the ash. the heat scorched it, and the ash was so heavy that it drooped all of the limbs and the leaves. So that is going to create an immediate problem. And as you might have heard, this has had a tremendous impact on the vegetation and the agriculture. Like I heard the Prime Minister saying yesterday that to a large extent, the agriculture in the green zone and the orange zone has been completely destroyed. In fact, I heard him and the United Nations representative saying that when you visit that scene, it is the word that both of them use is apocalyptic, which tells you the depth and the gravity of the devastation. But part of the law is that over time, and probably in another 9 months, 18 months, as the volcanic ash works its way into the soil, it brings the nutrients that are necessary to help in the fertility of the soil. One of the things that is said about Vincentian soil, particularly Vincentian marijuana, is that the soil helps to make it as rich and as potent and as powerful as it is. So we are expecting that we are going to rebound. We're going to rebound well, and our agriculture would rebound well as a result of this volcanic eruption. So I posted a piece a few days ago talking about the usefulness of volcanic eruptions, and one of the things that was mentioned is the fact that the ash, once it falls back over time, add new nutrients into the soil that helps to make it better and more fertile.
That's the balance of nature, you know. Nature is a very beautiful, you know what I'm saying, thing in terms of the destruction and the construction process. But you told me something there, Robert Jomo. Me never know St Vincent and ganja is serious them way there. You know what I mean? We never know them something they still, you know. So we learn something new because I'm from Jamaica, you know. We gotta say are we alone of ganja, you know? So
well, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But is it
nationalism? But Vinci is pretty good.
You have it. But no, but this is an interesting question. Is it even legal?
If it's
in
what?
St Vincent? Is it legal in St Vincent?
No.
It's not. That's what I was thinking.
No, I can vouch for it, and that's one of the. Sorry to cut you there, John. That's one of my bugbears at this present time, because to look at the marijuana cannabis market, it's now a multi-billion legal industry, and I've stated quite categorically that this can help raise the Caribbean out of some of the poverty that it's in, can help to alleviate the poverty. And I don't understand why CARICOM, why our governments are not pursuing, looking at the fact that now marijuana is legalized in the United States of America. It's about to be legalized in the United Kingdom, but we seem to, in the Caribbean, still carry a stigma with it. And bear in mind as well that marijuana is not just about being smoked, because that is the image that is given often because of Jamaica, because of Rastafari, because my Rastafarian brethren. Yeah, I'm somebody who grew up every month drinking marijuana tea and still try to do so. All right, and having been to St Vincent, and my best friend, he's got a place, or his family's got a place in Arnos Vale, so I know St Vincent pretty well. And as Jomo says, rightly so, I can vouch. Yeah, it is some of the most potent, just like Jamaica. And I don't understand at this present time, Jomo, why the Caribbean governments are not capitalizing on the fact that marijuana is now legal. It's now a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it seems to be only through private businessmen that
American private businessmen. Put the American before that one there. American private.
But I just want to say it seems only through, because this is the complaint that's in Jamaica. At this present time, the complaint in Jamaica, farmers who do grow marijuana, and it will be the same in St Vincent, are not being able to benefit from the fact that it's now a multi-billion-dollar legal industry. And to be honest, our government's got to start looking at this, because that was how Michael Manley kept the Jamaican government alive during the 70s before Edward Seaga came in. It was true.
Boy, yeah,
And so,
let me just say
One quick
sorry,
thing, though.
Brother Jama. Sorry, Brother Jama. I do believe Brother David wanted to come in here, so I don't want to.
One second quickly. In terms of
David, because I could speak to the Vincentian reality. I'm sure David would give a broader CARICOM reality. But the truth of the matter is that in 2018, there were a number of legislations which were brought before the Parliament that were intended to develop the medical marijuana industry. So, for example, in St. Vincent, and I can speak to this because at the time I was the Speaker of the House of Assembly then. In St. Vincent, we had a situation where the law was passed to allow for persons to have up to 56 grams of marijuana, and for people to have it in their tabernacles, in their homes, so on and so forth. And there has been serious efforts to be. It is true that the people with the money are the ones who are going to make. Because if you go into a capitalist enterprise, it is evident that the people with the most money will be able to do something. But it is not as if to say that nothing is being done in St. Vincent to develop that industry, or to say that it's not being done across the region. One of the impediments to the development of the medical marijuana industry is the fact that you have an international regime coming from treaties that go all the way back to the 1960s that prohibits marijuana use in marijuana. It is marijuana up until recently was classified as a serious psychotic narcotic and psychotic drug, and that regime allowed for serious pressures on countries like St. Vincent, or countries across the world doing this work. Some of these changes are taking place at the United Nations. What we see in the United States, for example, is that the states, I think it's now 30 states, that have allowed for legal marijuana. But the federal government is not on board with that as yet, although I think the federal government will eventually get there. But I think in Barbados, in Grenada, in St. Kitts, in Jamaica, all of these islands, all of these countries are making efforts to see how they can capitalize on this new industry, which many of us know well. I was really impressed a few years ago when the Antiguan Prime Minister, just before election, says, "Well, look, Antigua is a ganja country." And I think Antigua could be more ganja than St. Vincent. But that is the state of play. But I'm sure David may from his CARICOM may have a more in-depth analysis to offer.
Well, Brother David, we won't ask you how you partaketh of the Holy Sacrament, but the issues relating to the economics and the politics, the agriculture industry are important. So please shed some light. You're on mute, sir, my brother.
Yeah. Now, I was saying it's important to know that some years ago, CARICOM established a marijuana commission that did an investigation into the whole situation with marijuana, and gave a report that looked at medical cannabis, recreational cannabis, and made a series of recommendations to the CARICOM member states. So the commission did approve medical cannabis. It did approve legalization of marijuana. It went on to give recommendations as to, if it is legalized, some precautions to be put in place in relation to usage. For example, at what age should it be made legal for a young person to use it, and so forth. So it is now up to every individual CARICOM country to be guided by the report of the Marijuana Commission and to use it as they see fit. So, for example, Barbados has set up a national marijuana commission that is organizing the medical cannabis industry, and they're about to give out licenses for medical cannabis. Recently, I made a suggestion to the Rastafari community here that has been given several acres of land by the government to farm. Why not enter into an arrangement with the University of the West Indies in terms of doing a medical cannabis business? So that is happening. Also, the government recently passed legislation where decriminalizing possession of marijuana. So it is still against the law in terms of recreational use, but it is now being treated like how you would treat a traffic offense, where you will get like a parking ticket. So instead of being treated like a criminal offense where you go to court and you may end up in prison, the police will give you a ticket and you pay a fine. But different countries are approaching it in different ways. I think it is fair to say that virtually all of the CARICOM countries have agreed that they should pursue the medical cannabis industry, and but different countries have taken different approaches to the concept of recreational use of cannabis. So that's where it is at present.
Give thanks for that, Brother David. I do want to just point out in relation to this that we're talking about cannabis, hemp, and in terms of the industrial capacity for this thing, we've got things like textiles that it can be used for, oils, high strength composites, which is a whole category of different things. So Google that, food, milk, and I've got here a list of other viable commercial products and commodities such as hempcrete, a super high strength concrete formulation, So the industrial capacity of this thing is of such that, you know, in terms of the low resources, that it does appear to industry with proper subsidization for the farmers, them, and all these things. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's another conversation for another time, and we'll probably invite you back, Brother David, to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? But give thanks for the information that you've been able to drop thus far. I'm trying to see if there's any questions in the chat, and there aren't any. And so that just is a testimony to the level of the information that you've all been bringing. So we give thanks for that. But if you do have a question, brothers and sisters, feel free to ask it in the chat at the moment. I did have a mind to try and bring some of you live. Oh, by the way, if anyone is watching from High Wycombe, because I know that High Wycombe is on their thing in terms of the relief, and I got a message saying that High Wycombe's on it, but I wanted somebody to represent, from High Wycombe, and I've been, even though I know man from High Wycombe, it's like them now, you know what I mean? Them now come forward, right? So if anybody's listening from watching from High Wycombe, please, and you know anybody, feel free to let them know. And if they come through and we can vet them and all them thing there, we'll bring them on just to let people know, because we don't want to make this London centric, In fact, as I'm made to understand that High Wycombe, at least at one point, had the highest concentration of the Vincimas,
They still do.
Is it still? All right, I still say
They still do.
All right. So
still do.
so High Wycombe, you know what I mean? Please, if anybody, if your family come from High Wycombe, like, let us know Wagwan. And if anybody here right now knows Wagwan for High Wycombe, please do share the information.
Quickly, just to add as well on the topic of, industries and building up, we mentioned earlier, obviously, with the whole sulfur and the soil and the vegetation. Another thing I noticed on Instagram is that there are companies on the eastern part of the world using the coconut husks to make the same pallets that we use when we're moving cargo. So, when you put the whole heap of bottle of water or boxes under the pallet, wooden pallet, they're using it. They're making it out of the coconut. So rather than burning the coconut husk and dashing it away, like what we normally do in the Caribbean, that is something that we should all take a moment and stop to try and do in every single country, to find the ways now to make sustainable industries out of the things that we have on the islands that we take for granted. What can we do now to better ourselves? Because coconut is cheap. The coconut is there in abundance, and you can
Yeah,
use
man.
it to make these things. They're more eco-friendly, they're biodegradable, and it saves you on the deforestation side as well. And then to add to the whole cannabis industry as well, that's definitely something that we can implement and work on, because with the way how Amsterdam is changing their tourism structure in relation to that, it's opening up the market for the Caribbean to really come in and push that out and compete with places like Canada who have that system in place, and the specific states in America that have that system in place already. But it means a unified work, and also it means pitching it to the people in the UK who have been criminalized for having a small amount here and there on them, and who we're selling it, so to speak. So we say to them, we need to change our mindset and say, you know what, you need to open up a store and sell it as a CBD or a TCH or whatever, and you take it like that and you build it like that and you grow it like that and you become entrepreneurs and businessmen. So we need to have that in the work from in the schools. So we're teaching our young people how to take the things around them and sell, and change this thing from being a drug, which it's not. It's a herb that grows naturally, like you have grass seed and grass weed and all these kind of things, and saying, okay, how can you sell this like you would sell up callaloo that you can get fresh,
Highly.
or sea moss, or donkey weed, or guinea hen.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So it's the little things that we
and he just ran down all of the ingredients to strong back. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying. So you can do a strong back recipe. You know what I'm saying.
So yeah,
all right.
it's definitely something
all
that
right.
in working and going forward, that we can try and say, okay, we're going to use probably donations to say we want to set up incentives and initiatives where the young people or the communities or organizations in St. Vincent can get funding on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis to say, all right, what are your ways of building back your community here and there that we can support you long term with, because that is going to be the crux of it. Because for some people, for most of us, some of us in here, like I mentioned, we're soca lovers, we're bacchanalists. So right now I know some people are thinking, boy, that first Vinci mass back after all of this
Serious business are going.
Sensational.
Rachel does actually agree with you.
So with that being said, we know we're not getting any Vinci mass this year. We probably won't get any next year. Yes. But we can prepare and help other industries to grow and flourish, so that way when it comes to 2023, it's like, all right, cool, we have all these other things, or we have more infrastructure, we have more logistics, and then we can implement these strategies in other nations like St. Lucia, like Grenada, so on and so forth. So let's keep the focus, let's keep the energy going, and let's keep the knowledge passing and sharing, and give thanks. I'm signing up. Peace and love. Thank you, Martin J, for all your help and support. Thank you, Rachel. You know, we're working neck and neck and everything together like this, and big up everybody on this platform on this stage. You give thanks for coming together and sharing. Peace.
No problems. All right. So I know said Martin J and Rachel have to go as well. So I'm gonna give them some time to say what they want to say before they have to move out.
Ladies first.
Oh, you're on mute, sis.
I was trying to find that unmute.
Yeah.
Just want to say thank you to everyone that's obviously hit us up. Thanks to everyone that said, where can I drop stuff, directed them to Martin and Lisa and Nally for Help SVG UK. And we have to keep pushing, because it's not going to be a week, it's not going to be 2 weeks, this is going to be ongoing, and we need to rebuild half of our island, so I just don't want this to become a moment, it's a whole movement here. So just keep up the good work, keep spreading awareness, and keep praying for our safety, for those of us that are here on the ground. So yeah, that's it from me, and thanks for having me.
Right, before Rachel pops off the screen.
Sorry, just a quick question to Rachel. Can people give donations through the website? Through the AC Store website, UK, yeah. All right, so I've got that on the screen, a while ago. And I think this is what you were saying, Sir Influential, on Thursday, that this is the best place to go, even before the GoFundMe, yeah, because it goes direct. Is that correct?
Yes, please, because it's instant, it's straight away. Rachel can support the shelter that she's been doing with her team in a more rapid response. The GoFundMe is still good enough. So I tell people you have the option, because the GoFundMe, once you create it, you have to wait the 5 days. Now, as Rachel said, we need with rapid response, instant response. So them 5 days, if we're all waiting on all the GoFundMes, them 5 days, we don't know what kind of story we'd have now. So whereas when we do the instant donations, it's instant. She's undergoing, her team are there, get in the van, go to the local business, support that economy, support the shelter, back again, back again, back again, back again. You see it in real time. Whereas with the GoFundMe, you have to fill certain criteria. I believe GoFundMe take a little percentage, I don't remember now, all of that kind of stuff. So you have the option to do both people. So if you can do both, if you want the instant, please do the instant. And if you feel like you want to donate again, you can go to donate to the GoFundMe again, because also you can hold people accountable. So, you know, the High Commission have a GoFundMe, helping SVG UK have a GoFundMe via Vinci Alliance Mass. So you have the options there, so that way you know you have 3 people, 3 points where you can donate monetary, and you can hold these people accountable. Any other GoFundMes, I can't speak on, I don't know, because you can't hold them accountable. It's not nobody I can call and pinch and say, hey, what you doing? I don't know.
Yeah, where you go? All right, family.
They have reached out to me and said to me, hold on, we want to donate money, but when we donated money to a GoFundMe for Haiti, we don't know what happened with the money.
Right.
The money go up in the air and then nobody don't know what happened to it. So luckily, I've been able to say, well, I know the people that run Help SVG UK, I know the people that run Vince AC Store UK, I can vouch for them. Here's the evidence. I can send you the Instagram link. I can show you this. I can show you that.
Yes.
So that's the situation I'm in, and I would always implore people to please do that, because it's going to be instant and rapid. And also that's why Martin just has kindly shown us and set up the long-standing thing where it's okay, cool, we need monthly donations now to ensure that it's done, because it's going to be a year to 18 months of repair and building, and it means pulling it in together. And also we've appealed to higher ups to say, okay, we need a bigger pool now. We need the United Nations and other people that have that kind of financial leverage to say, you know what, here is a donation of a really sensible lump sum to come through and build it even more, because it's not just if the longer Vinci takes to get that in place, it's going to affect all the other islands in close proximity, because obviously Barbados is greatly affected. So even they're having to consider how they're going to navigate that. And the other, I think St. Lucia got a bit of ash as well. So even them, again, they need to, and it's now making all the other islands who have active volcanoes look and say, all right, cool, well, we'll see how we're working here, what we need to do, implementation and go on. And it's like what Brother David said earlier about the particular, I can't remember the name he said for it, S something, group of people that are affiliates that work and manage that and assess that and, you know, keep that going and clock working. So it's amazing to see. So just the message again is just everybody pray, blessings, stick together, work through, support each other, and we're in this for the long run and the long haul.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Martin J.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I was gonna say the same thing as So Influential, but quicker. But I also wanted to comment on this image here. I'm joking, by the way. This image that you're looking at the moment is separate to everything else that we've been talking about. It's separate to our GoFundMe collection. This is me particularly calling out the sportsmen and the celebrities. Yeah.
Okay.
That 50K is specifically to set up an infrastructure between ourselves and AC Superstore. Yeah. It's money that we need to pay for container shipments, because the freeness is gonna done soon. The whole, oh my goodness, we gotta help St Vincent, that's gonna done. Yeah. So every time we want to ship a container, we're gonna have to pay for it. And so I want to lean on people that are of celebrity status that buy champagne bottles for £200 a time and pour it over people's heads on their birthdays. I want them put their hand in their pocket and build up that 50K for me, so that we can build a proper infrastructure. Not only here, when Rachel gets them 2 containers, listen, that is when the work is going to be really overwhelming, because I know the team that it took to put it on them containers, to take it out and sort it, is going to be really, 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 really difficult. And I just want to reiterate, for those of you that wake up in the morning and you feel frustrated, send the money to Rachel. Yeah? There's been a number of times where I've woken up and I said, boy, give thanks for life, yeah? Because the life that I've got, I cannot complain about one thing at the moment, yeah? And even if I say, but let me take £25 and go and send it to her. She will do good with that £25. Do not think that she won't be able to do good with it. You understand? And I think that is a very important part at the moment. The fact that she'd be able to do stuff instantly. Help SVG UK. We're in it for the long haul. I can tell you that our plan goes long beyond 2021. And so just if you wake up and you feel frustrated and you want to do something today, send a few pounds to Rachel. Those pounds will add up.
Nothing's too small, family. Yeah, nothing too big. If it's even a pound, if you only have a pound for gigit, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just say it, go, and don't feel shame and don't feel no way. I just want to say thank you. I know the three of you got to go. We're gonna close up with Brother Jamal and Brother David, who's kindly giving us their time also. Thank you all. Sister Rachel, you're on the ground. Take care of yourself, sister. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Don't feel shame for taking arrests. You know what I'm saying? An extra hour here and there, because you need replenishing, yeah? And so you must take care of yourself as well in order to help others. So we appreciate you, my sister. And all of you, anytime there's anything going on and you need a platform to share information, do please reach out to Got Kush TV as much as we can. Yeah, we'll do our best to profile. We are Black media and it's our job, yeah, to do these things, all right? So thank you all very much for giving us your time. We appreciate it. Give thanks. All right, family. So once again, do make sure you hit up the acstore.co.uk, yeah, for all the donation them and all these things. Brother David, the government also has an official fund sending account, isn't it, or a GoFundMe or something like that? The St Vincent government, is that not the case?
Yes, they've set up an account, the Disaster Relief Fund. The information I have, Jomo, Government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Accountant General, Disaster Relief Fund. It's at the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Bedford Street in Kingstown. And there's an account number, a SWIFT code, and apparently the facilitating banks are the Bank of America and the Bank of New York. So that's information I got directly from the government of St. Vincent. And I think why it is important to get resources directly to the St. Vincent government is that in addition to the 4,300 people or so in the shelters, there are, I think, over 8,000 people staying in private homes. That's correct. Those homes need, it's easy to find the shelters, but the National Emergency Management Organization in St. Vincent and the welfare agencies are also going to have to be funneling resources towards the private homes that have taken in evacuees. And so that probably, if you know somebody personally, yes, you could send something to them. But where that is not the case, you're going to have to depend on the social welfare services in St. Vincent to get the resources to those folks. So I think it's important that this official St. Vincent Government Disaster Relief Fund be supported, but I don't know how easy it is to make those donations from the UK. But I think I sent you the account details. So it's a bit much to give out here. Didn't I send them to you?
Yeah, no, I'll try a thing. Let me just double check. But yeah, if you send it, I will have it. So hold on. Go ahead. Let me.
Well, I mean, I could give you the account number, the SWIFT code. The account number is 137741, and the SWIFT code is NCBVVC22. But then there's a SWIFT code for the Bank of America and also the Bank of New York. So I don't know if maybe all of that information is required if one
Yes,
goes
it's so
into your
complex.
bank
It's so complex.
in the UK.
It would be required, David. You are absolutely right. That information which you give out is the official information from the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the point that you made, David, which I think is fundamentally important, but even more important is this, that the assistance which we get and the assistance which the country needs goes beyond that assistance which goes simply to the people who have been forced to leave their homes. As
Yes, yes.
he said, and as the official information is, the devastation is so broad-based and so wide-ranging that we would need every cent we can get to build back our country. And any assistance which we get, whether it's a pound or 100,000 pounds, that would be needed. And that the information which David gave is the information, but I'm sure he sent it, but Shaka, I would also send this information to you so that you can see it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and we'll definitely share it. We'll definitely share it. Right, we're on the 9 o'clock hour. Just any last words, brother David, brother Jomo, that you like people to know before we wrap up. And then
thank you so much.
Sorry, brother Jomo. Before I do that, just quickly, sister, brother, aunt, doctor, just anything that you feel like we need to address before we wrap up.
No, I personally no. I just think thank you so much for coming on at such short notice. And I think, you've given us, lots to look at in terms of the different dynamics and how layered this situation actually is abroad and how far reaching this situation actually is. And I just, thank you for being able to, promote the importance of the work that needs to be still done. So just thank you for that.
Thank you.
Duamutef?
I sent you. I forwarded you the information, so you have it on your phone now, and you probably can read it before the program ends. But
thank you very much.
I just wanted to say that to thank you and to thank the organizers for having me on to bring some perspective on what is taking place in St. Vincent. As we have said, it's really a horrific situation here. It is a tribute to our people that we hang in tough and we remaining strong. But it is devastating in many respects. And we are glad that brothers and sisters like you are out there and you are willing to lend your solidarity and to lend your support. We know we could not do it without you, but we expect no less from you.
We'll give thanks. Sorry, Duamutef, was you going to say something?
I was going to say to Jomo, thanks for bringing clarity. I just had one other burning question, which was in terms of people evacuating and leaving the island, because sometimes these things can cause a little brain drain on the island. Some of our brightest and best decide I've had enough and I want to leave. How many have estimated to have actually left the island and maybe have gone to other Caribbean islands before you go?
As of now, no Vincentian citizen has left. In the early hours, there was an idea that people would want to leave, and cruise liners came over, but that didn't materialize. Apparently, and again, it's a wonderful story because it speaks to the strength. David did say that we are a people who are very tough and we have been made through years of struggle, but the people have decided to stick it out, and we have not left. Even though persons have been placed in shelters and sometimes very difficult situations, they have all decided, and this is in the face of the fact that Dominica, Trinidad, Guyana, Antigua, St. Lucia have all said, look, we're going to welcome you with open arms. Each of those countries, I guess it was a CARICOM coordinated thing, said that they would take up to about 300 persons. In fact, I saw a notice from Dominica this morning saying, look, we're going to test you, and if there are difficulties with COVID, we'll put you in quarantine as we do with everybody else. But as of now, no one left. Last Thursday, Trinidadian citizens, I think it was 129 of them, left the Trinidadian government had sent a Navy ship over with supplies, and they went back with that ship. But those were Trinidadian citizens. But the Vincentian citizens on the whole have decided to stay and to tough it out. So it is really an amazing story that our people, in the midst of that kind of difficulty, have decided to remain at home.
Give thanks for clarifying that, because we were hearing a lot of mixed stories here in the UK. So it's great to hear your perspective, and give thanks for the clarity of what's happening actually in St Vincent to yourself and Rachel on the ground. Really appreciate that stuff.
I think what is happening is that a lot of those folk who have been affected are people from farming communities, people who have land, people who have farms, and are not likely to want to leave. They're going to want to rebuild in St. Vincent. But I suspect you will probably find maybe some young people who are not so connected to farming, who may take the opportunity, who may have wanted to migrate to another Caribbean country and may take the opportunity. But persons who were perhaps thinking of migrating on a long-term basis. And I think that any Vincentian that comes into a neighboring Caribbean country at this time, probably if they want to stay on permanently, that is likely to be facilitated. But that is probably going to be a very modest number, because, as Jomo said, the vast majority are committed to rebuilding their lives in St. Vincent, and that's, that should be expected, I guess, from a farming community. But what I would like to say in closing is that right now, I think the emphasis is on keeping the people who have been evacuated, the people who have been discommoded, as comfortable as possible. They have to be fed. There's a lot of need for water and so forth. You have to look out for the needs list that the government of St. Vincent puts out, because that will tell you what the priorities are. And that needs list is going to change over time. So, for example, the sister was saying that she thinks there's a need for some kind of machines to help with asthma. So maybe that will come up on the next needs list that the St. Vincent government puts out. So people need to be guided by that. The long-term rebuilding cannot start until basically the volcano ceases and settles. And I know that last week SEDIMA sent in a disaster assessment team. So a team is already on the ground in St. Vincent, trying as best they can to assess the damage and what it will take to rebuild the country. But realistically, they really cannot complete that until the volcano, ceases its activity. And when that happens, they will have a detailed analysis of what it will take to rebuild and how much it will take to rebuild. And at that time, we can really begin focusing on that. But right now, I think the priority is on these close to 20,000 people. How do we keep these people as comfortable, as well provisioned, that they have as normal a life as possible in these very trying circumstances? And I think we're going to get the word out there that this is not, as we have said so many times, this is not a couple of weeks. This is a mission that is going to take some months to accomplish. But thanks again for this effort, and so it was a wonderful program, very intelligent, very informative, and it's great. I mean, I'm so impressed that our Caribbean diaspora in the UK and I guess in other parts of the diaspora as well are showing this level of consciousness and concern, and are being so proactive in helping us, because I can't even say St. Vincent, helping us in the Caribbean. Thank you.
Thanks, Brother David. Appreciated. And like I said, it's our duty. Anywhere African people are, we have to keep our finger on the pulse of the thing. And there's so much other things going on, even in the Caribbean. Haiti is serious right now. in terms of what's happening there, and even Venezuela. You know what I'm saying, in terms of Wagwan over there. So there's many things to focus on, even beyond natural disasters. And so we give thanks for the opportunity to be able to do this. Brother Jomo, you look like you wanted to say something, and I'll give you the opportunity if you do, and then we'll wrap up the show.
I was saying goodbye.
Oh, right. Okay, right. Cool. Thank you very much, my brothers, and my uncles, my elders, for joining us and for your insights. Yeah, for your insights. We'll let you go. You know what I'm saying? Because we know you got work to do. So give thanks for your time.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Right, family. Yes, indeed. We've been speaking to Brother David Komisong, Brother Jomo, Sir Influential, legendary Martin J, and the legend in the making, Sister Rachel, today. Just any reflections, Duamutef, Sister Mo, on the conversation before we wrap up? You're on mute, bro. They're on mute, bro.
No, first thing I said, ain't I a legend yet? No, not really. First, I think we have covered quite comprehensively what's taking place in St Vincent. For anyone had any misconceptions about what's going, because in the last week many things have been flying around. So that was where our questioning was coming from, to try and alleviate some of the things, because the internet has no chill. And so in listening to our esteemed elders as well, of which we are one, I think we've laid the foundation and the groundwork. What do you think I got all of this?
Yeah, we're seeing. Rather wealthy with the silver. You have plenty of silver for you.
I think we've laid the foundation and the groundwork to be able maybe to do updates on what is happening with Caribbean life, especially as I said, during this time whereby there will be more frequent natural disasters, unfortunately. And like I said, it's a miracle by the grace of the Most High and the ancestors that there's been no loss of life or no casualties. But I think, we've definitely laid the groundwork and the foundation through that extensive Pan-African network that Shaka was touching on at the beginning of the program, whereby we could give here on Got Kush TV, being the UK's #1 conscious platform, updates from various Caribbean islands. You mentioned Haiti there, Shaka, so maybe we can go in and find out what's going on Haiti and utilize this technology to make those worldwide links, so they can get to know Got Kush and we can get to know in real time what's happening out there, instead of relying on Eurocentric media or Caucasian European media to do what we can easily do for ourselves right now.
I share. Give thanks. Sister Mo?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we had this conversation. It puts my soul, if you like, it's given me some ease and some peace knowing that people are getting taken care of and getting looked after in the way that they are. And I think all the different aspects, like the sister Rachel was sharing, her being right there on the ground, that's so important. I think, that the conversations, even the conversations we had, the different, where we're veered off onto the, the herbs, then I think it's important that what we take from this, the takeaway from this is how we rebuild, as a community, how we sustain ourselves. The brother was talking about, using the coconuts. We've got to look, I tell my children, it's the saying we have in our household, use what you've got because you really got a lot. And it's like, you've got to look at what's right in front of you. I was hearing some background, people were talking about the Caribbean and, how people are still looking to take things from tins, still going to the supermarket and getting things from the can and the thing on the tree, and they don't want to take off the tree. It don't make no sense. This is an opportunity for us to, as a community and back home, is to look at that. We're helping from this end, of course, where we can, and sending over things to sustain. I know that when we take some things over, I intentionally sent over a few pretty dresses. Not that they necessarily needed it, but I sent over a couple of pretty dresses because emotionally, What would that be doing to a woman who's got her children, who's displaced? Yeah. So, you know, it's about how we can feel, you know, how to help a sister that I may never meet. Yeah. You know, supporting her from here. So I take it very seriously, you know, from an empathic space. I take it very seriously what's going on with it. And the brother Jomo spoke about it earlier in the early part about the mental health. And here we are with Quarantine Convos, you know, the importance of these kinds of things and the emotional and mental well-being of our people. So I'm glad to get clarity on it. I look forward to the updates and just wish our people back home, our families back home. You know, we're here for you. We're going to support you as best as I can. Just reach out to us and let us know what we can do.
Yes. Give thanks, and give thanks to Sister Mo, because as I said at the beginning of the show, it was really she that really kind of said that we need to do a show like this. And you know, we kind of had to knock it and get it done. And as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the most important shows that we've done. And not just because of the nature of the natural disaster, but because of the levels of the conversation that we've been able to have in terms of not just, sorry, in terms of the relief effort here and on the ground in terms of the geological issues associated, in terms of the political issues, in terms of the first responders on the ground and the preemptive work that was done to evacuate people, to study the landscape, the volcano. A lot of information has been shared here. I encourage ones to please, all right, okay. I don't know if that's me or whatever, but I encourage ones to listen to the show more again. Yeah, because I guarantee you never caught all the information. And please share it far and wide. Yeah, share it far and wide. I enjoyed going into the conversation about the agricultural sector. And a brother made a point in the chat that is very important that I want to highlight. He says one of the challenges here for us in the islands is the procurement of processing equipment to produce the relevant products from the coconut and the cannabis. And that is this essential issue. Industrialization requires the tools and the factories to process and turn natural resources into products. And that's why I'm saying it's a broader conversation in terms of CARICOM and the governments and how these industries are being invested in, not just the agricultural sector, but the industries that benefit from the resources that are reaped from the agricultural sector. So that is something that needs to be looked into, because there are resources and there are industries that need developing from a people-centered perspective. Yeah. And really and truly, in terms of what was being said about from Sir Influential about the sustainability aspect of it, Africa and the Caribbean, it should and can be leading the world in terms of sustainable energy and sustainable production. Yeah. We are in the best place to do so, and ancestrally we have the methods. Yeah, you got some bush, and even today, like what was being said about the coconut, ask two Rasta man in the bush, yeah, about coconut, yeah, and the uses of coconut, yeah. Queen Africa's even got a song about it, you know what I'm saying, and Janine have a line where she says, so when I think of coconut, it gets sentimental. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're living a certain liberty, there's certain things in nature that become central to that liberty, and you develop certain sustainable methods. You know what I'm saying? There is a question asking, what is the contact for the sister? So I'm suggesting, my brother, that if you're on the ground, check her website. Yeah, her contact information will be there. acstore.co.uk. Yeah, just go to her website, and you should be able to find the contact details right there. Yeah, but thank you for joining us from underground in St Vincent. We appreciate it, and share it far and wide with brothers and sisters in St Vincent. Just let them know so we're there. Yeah, that their brothers and sisters in the UK, they are with them and for them, and I said to them, love, strength, and any material assistance that we can provide, we'll be giving them that also. Right, family, I believe that's it. Thank you, brother Duamutef and the Ankh Doctor. Stay tuned for more whole laments, yeah, with the Ankh Doctor, you know what I'm saying, coming your way soon, when, you know what I'm saying, especially because they look like they want to free up the restriction now, you know what I mean, and all these things, so we can get some more interviews and everything there, guys. So stay tuned. But if you haven't seen it already, check out the previous whole laments with the Ankh Doctor. Stay tuned, yeah, for even more quarantine convos coming your way every Thursday, yeah, every Thursday from 7 p.m. Hosted by myself and Sister months. You don't know, kings and queens, about some serious business are going. This coming Thursday, we're speaking to Sister Abby Osho, yeah, about holistic well-being, health, and all these things, right? Fantastic, beautiful, bubbly sister. So you're gonna enjoy that one. To do come through this coming Thursday between the hours of 7. From the hour of 7. And yeah, no doubt we'll be coming back to this issue of St. Lucia at some point. And yes, brother Duamutef, we have to deal with Haiti and all these things. You know what I'm saying? We have to deal with Congo, have to deal with Mali. You know what I mean? But you know, there's enough things I have to deal with, kings and queens. So we give time. So like you want to say something very quickly?
Yeah, I was going to say that we have to make sure that we are at the forefront of giving the very best news from the Caribbean and also as well Africa, using that extensive Pan-African net. It's time, you know, and we also got to encourage as much nation building from that Caribbean and African Caribbean diaspora in terms of the way forward will be farming. I mean, even though the volcano, it looked apocalyptic at the moment, apocalyptic, yeah. Eventually once that subsides, then that land is going to be fertile. We all know that the greatest farmland is in the Caribbean and Africa. So we need to encourage the diaspora to get involved in that side, as well as people want to get involved with the beaches and as well with the Vinci Mass and the thing. We've got to get involved with farming, growing food, feeding ourselves, getting it around to the various diasporas, all of that and some. That's what I wanted to say still. I think it's important.
Yes, King. Yes, King. Give thanks for that, family. Like I said, very important show. Pull it up, wheel and come again. Share it far and wide, kings and queens. Do stay tuned to Got Kush TV and email us here. Check out the website, gotkushtv.co.uk. Any information that you feel like we need to have, please send it to us and we'll do our best. If it's even just to mention it on Quarantine Convos, we'll do our best to share it with our people as and where it's important, family. Yeah, man, remember that. And always remember, you ain't got nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you ain't.
Yeah.
Do it again. Do it again. You ready?
All right, it's live.
You ain't got
Family.
nothing.
If you ain't got
Kush. You know how terrible. All right.
Growing up in the Caribbean, I was taught to honor Great Britain. But when I check out my history and I check out my ancestry, I have to face reality. Now I could wave a flag, I could boast and brag. I know who I am. I am an African. I'm proud of my motherland. Don't doubt me. I'm proud of my ancestry. Try to brainwash me. Great Britain is my mother country. But when I remember the triangle, how they bought and sold my people, I tell myself that ain't possible. When I remember the cruel trips, them wicked ships, when I remember British injustice, I am an African. I'm proud of my motherland. Don't doubt me. I'm proud of my ancestry.
Black Trinity, Got Kush TV's exclusive free Kwanzaa showcase is now available for you to watch absolutely free. In conjunction with Ghana, the On the Return series, we have brought the African diaspora experience directly to you. To watch this monumental event absolutely free, simply register for membership at gotkushtv.com and you will receive access to Black 2020 as well as more exclusive content, including Reggie Rockstone, Yusufu Jallo, VVN, Malaku Selassie, Daddy Makes Dough, Tods, King Wiz, Tubada, Ras Ashiba, Mama Sia, Brother Leader Bandaka, Israel, Sister Moots, Carla Marie, Yemaya Sankofa, Goldflow, and a special Voyage to Motherland panel discussion. All this and more, hosted by Nat Nye and Stella B. Register now at gotkushtv.com. 2020, a year of many unforeseen challenges, where all had to adjust to a new reality. And despite it all, Got Kush TV was and still is here to serve you. And what a year it's been. We began the repatriation journey with our new show, Voyage to Motherland. We dropped the knowledge as you took your seats in the Kush University and joined us to hold a meds with the Ankh Doctor. Got Kush TV invited you to get involved in conscious, controversial conversation and enter, decipher. And when the world went into lockdown, we kept you connected with the quarantine convos. We kept our finger on the pulse of the community with coverage of the Reparations Rebellion and the Black Pound Day all dayer. Not to mention more wordsmith and a slew of new music video releases for your viewing pleasure. And the official launch of the Got Kush TV website. We also brought you events, including Women of Power and, of course, Black Trinity. Now, in 2021, Got Kush TV is continuing to level up the thing. First up, we are pleased to inform you that gotkushtv.com is open to exclusive membership. Sign up to any of our membership tiers and you will gain access to playbacks from all our events and an ever-growing list of exclusive original content, including interviews, documentaries, and shows such as Kushcom University. To become an official member of gotkushtv.com, simply hit the membership tab. Stay tuned for continued updates. Then there's the new shows. Look out for more Decipher, Wordsmith, Hold a Meds with the Ankh Doctor, and weekly episodes of Quarantine Convos focused on health, wellness, education, and inspiration for our community. As always, the Got Kush TV film team is available for hire to cover all your events, adverts, infomercials, and all filming needs. Visit us at gotkushtv.com for hire inquiries and more information. Stand by all Black businesses through our website, social media, and show content. We have monumental advertising, sponsorship, and network opportunities catering specially for you. Check out the advertising page on gotkushtv.com for more information. Got Kush TV is in full flight to join us for the ride. There's 4 things you can do. Subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell to make sure you don't miss a release. Join us on all social media and hit up gotkushtv.com to subscribe to our mailing list and sign up to become a Got Kush TV member for exclusive opportunities in the near future. Let us know you are feeling our content by hitting that ever so important button of approval. Comment. We want to hear your feedback on everything we are putting out. So make sure your presence is felt in the comment section. Share. Spread the word by hitting that share button and exposing your circle to the magnificence that is Got Kush TV. We are looking forward to building with you throughout 2021 and servicing you with high quality Black media production. Got Kush TV. Beyond discussion, beyond debate, we put the power in Black media.